गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी आश्ताश देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, just give me a moment.
Prabhu, I am recording. I can.
Okay, sure. Hare Krishna.
Okay, quiz question. Who would like to give a definition of Labdhopa Shanti? Besides you, sir. Besides you. Labdho Prashanti. We discussed this morning. Definition. You're not sure. You think you know. Definitely don't want to get a wrong answer because then it'll be terrible, right?
Keeping personality of body, keeping the center. Basically, God-centered life and like that. Relation with this is that
Just a little bit louder so that I can hear you. Just, you probably got it right, but I couldn't hear what you said.
By connecting our life, God-centered life. We can have peaceful and happy life.
Okay. That wasn't so painful, was it? Do you agree with that definition? Are you agreeing, or do you want to add something? You heard what he said?
Something is peaceful and open is near before.
Near before. Could you say it a little more clearly? Speak again. Please don't be in terrible fear. Just say. Something is peaceful. Labdha means to obtain. Labdha is to obtain. Upa, shanti. Everyone knows what Shanti means. Upa, just like Upanishad. Upa is to come near to. So, put them all together. And it means, please don't make us wait too long for the answer. Doesn't have to be a literal translation of it, just
conducting our life to approaching near them a peaceful life.
yeah. Which becomes possible when you approach the personality of Godhead. You become absorbed in thought of the personality of Godhead. Thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah, Maharaj contrasting the meditating on the super soul and also bhakta, and you are saying that.
Now you're adding. So that's the next question that I haven't asked yet. Are there different ways that one can reach this labdha prashanti state? And the answer is yes. Now could you please describe them?
One is that one tries to meditate on the Supreme Personality of God in the future of Paramatma,
Mm-hmm.
and another is that the bhakta directly engage in the devotional service of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And the devotional service is natural,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so as to say very so as to blissful also. It's basically a concomitant factor rather than by worshipping the Supreme Lord.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The one gets shanti and other things as a byproduct in one's because of the love for the Lord.
Very good. So, because the absorption in meditation on the Super Soul, or the absorption of the mind in the state of devotion to the personality of Godhead, the rule of the transcendental realm prevails. That is, time energy is not acting. The modes of material nature are not acting. The law of deterioration, as we find in matter, it's not acting. It's ever increasing. The influence of false ego is not found. This state of affairs is factual on the transcendental plane, but it is factually revealed in a transcendentalist's knowledge of the advanced state of pure consciousness. So, labdha prashanti is another way of giving a simple definition, is there's the state of consciousness of a transcendentalist, in which there is, certain things are absent and certain things are present. Now, when we began this chapter, I explained there are two major components. One is this nivritti component, and another component is positive meditation upon the form of Paramatma. Then, of course, there's embellishments on both sides. Particularly, we just mentioned some of them. This meditation upon Paramatma form of the Lord alludes to the next stage that follows that, which is devotional service unto that transcendent form of the Lord. So here, text 18 this Nivritti idea. With connection with the Supreme, detachment from matter follows. So, text 18, the transcendentalists desire to avoid everything godless, for they know that the supreme situation in which everything is related with the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Therefore, a pure devotee who is in absolute harmony with the Lord does not create perplexities, but worships the lotus feet of the Lord at every moment, taking them into his heart. What is called renunciation is linking with the Supreme, or the other way around. Where there's linking with the Supreme, that is what real renunciation is. Very same idea is discussed in the 19th chapter. The submission that Maharaj Parikshit is making to the Supreme Lord when receiving news that, even before receiving news that this snake bird will come to kill him, he's feeling such great regret and remorse for the wrong that he has done to offend the Brahmin, that he's ready to give up all of his kingdom. There's only one, so the detachment from the worldliness spirit is there, but completely dedicating himself unto the personality of Godhead is the positive step. So he announces to the sages, that's my intention. I'm going to give up my kingdom, I'm going to give up my body, and fast until death. Fixing my mind completely on the personality of Godhead. So this is Shukadev's instruction or analysis that anything that appears to be not connected to the Supreme, a transcendentalist has no interest. He's interested in connecting to the Supreme. So godlessness is far away. So he doesn't create perplexities for himself. We'll read the purport. In the Bhagavad Gita, Mad Dhamma or Maya Bodh is mentioned several times, and according to the version of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there exists the unlimited spiritual sky, wherein planets are called Vaikunthas, or the abodes of the Personality of Godhead. In that sky, which is far, far beyond the material sky and its sevenfold coverings, there is no need of sun or the moon, nor is there necessity for electricity for illumination, because the planets are self-illuminating and more brilliant than the material suns. Pure devotees of the Lord are absolutely in harmony with the personality of Godhead, or in other words, they always think of the Lord as their only dependable friend and well-wisher. They do not care for any mundane creature up to the status of Brahma, the Lord of the universe. Only they can definitely have a clear vision of the Vaikuntha planet. Such pure devotees, being perfectly directed by the Supreme Lord, do not create any artificial perplexity in the matter of transcendental understanding by wasting time in discussing what is Brahman and what is non-Brahman, or Maya. Nor do they falsely think of themselves as one with the Lord, or argue that there is no existence of the Lord separately, or that there is no God at all, or that living beings are themselves God, or that when God incarnates himself, he assumes a material body, So he's describing what really drains the energy of misdirected spiritualists or aspiring spiritualists. The false theories of speculative scholars that confuse people. And this business of speculation, being just finding delight in agitating the mind to come up with new and different ways of thinking of things, it becomes addictive. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was having discussions with Ballabha would come and approach Lord Chaitanya with different ideas. One time he came to the Lord and said, "I would like to explain to you the meaning of the holy name of the Lord." And Lord Chaitanya replied, "I'm sorry, I don't know many meanings. I only know of he who is Hari, and he who is the tender of the cows, Govinda. I don't know so many meanings." Because it's a tendency to interpret the meaning of the holy name as this. The Kurukshetra battlefield means this. It's not really a battlefield, it's something. The struggle of life, and the horses are the five senses. The chariot driver is our intelligence. It's all allegorical. This means that, that means this. And people that become trained with that kind of idea, I had a program with an older Bengali group, and so I thought I would just keep it really simple. And I explained a certain section from Bhagavad Gita. And when it was over, there was a sense that they didn't hear anything that I said. And it was proven by one of the questions. The person said, "Can you give another explanation of this passage?" I said, "Well, how can there be another explanation?" "Well, you know, Vivekananda has explained that this means that, and that means that, and that means that." We don't know many explanations. We know Bhagavad Gita as it is. Prabhupada's phrase was malinterpretations, and what a cheating it is to take in the name of Bhagavad Gita. Someone takes the position that Krishna doesn't really know how to say what he means. Although he's the authority, he's the supreme, we accept him as the supreme authority. When he says this, he means that. He couldn't have said that if he meant that. He said this, but he means that. This means that, and this means that, and this means that, and that means this. But never direct. When Krishna says surrender unto me, he doesn't mean surrender unto me. He means surrender to the unborn, unmanifest within him. If Krishna meant that, Krishna would certainly have said that. He doesn't say that, but the interpreters say that's
Hare Krishna. So we'll pause here today. Any comments, realizations, discussion points? Any volunteers?
Hare Krishna, Ji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes, bro.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. Just few points, Prabhu. One is it's very nice how Maharaj mentions that Parikshit Maharaj, he had done the wrong of garlanding the sage and he wanted to right his wrong by fixing his mind on Krishna and nothing else. So maybe later on we can discuss this point on how do we get to the state that here we are committing wrongs left and right, and how do we think of it as wrong, and how do we try to take a higher spiritual path to rectify the wrong. So that is one. And some more points regarding the class would be that a transcendentalist Maharaj mentioned is always wanting to connect to Krishna. So even here we can see, a couple of days ago we heard Maharaj, when he saw the full moon outside, he was immediately thinking that this full moon is the one which nourishes vegetables and which gives us, which we have for energy. So we can see an example. Maharaj exemplified that point, and even Srila Prabhupada also does it time and again. And another point was how pure devotees, one is connect to Krishna and only see the Lord and nothing else. That's another thing. And very nicely, Maharaj mentioned that Srila Prabhupada has given us the direct method of bhakti, not the speculative method by Mayavadi philosophers. Maharaj gave a few examples and elaborated those points. And one thing is, it's a couple of things here. Maharaj is strictly following that principle. Even in one of the other lectures where he went to get some therapy, and he happened to come across Mayavada philosopher with the Virat Rupa form, that particular lecture, where that person who was treating, he mentioned that behind the form of the Lord there is formlessness. Then Maharaj said, no, 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 thank you very much. And he sort of told him that behind the formlessness is Krishna. So we can see that aspect of Maharaj again. And last thing is, Prabhu, that we are fortunate that we get to hear and read that as it is version which Srila Prabhupada has given us of the Bhagavad Gita. So these are some of the points, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for the nice summary. Anyone else?
Hare
Yes, Mataji. Yes. Shweta
Prabhu
Mataji.
was also speaking.
Go ahead, Mataji. Shweta Mataji.
I just had a slight doubt when Maharaj was speaking that when you have to surrender into me, that is not to me, but the unborn and unmanifested inside me. I mean, I didn't understand that very clearly.
Essentially, like here, like Maharaj is referring to Mayavada philosophy of like Brahman, the unmanifested or absolute truth without any form, any attributes. And when the Lord appears as Krishna or Rama, like they accept a material body. So that's what here says, like Brahman accepting a body in the mode of goodness. And then that's why when Krishna says surrender unto me, what he means is like it is not to Krishna himself, but the unmanifested Brahman within Krishna. So that's what it means.
Prabhu, just to add one more point to that, if you don't mind.
Yes, go, please.
Yes, well, so here, Prabhu, I think Maharaj in the flow of speech, he was referring to various interpreters of Bhagavad Gita. So one of them, Srila Prabhupada, I think quotes now and then that there is some, or I forget the name, or as Prabhupada mentioned, I'm not sure, that they are referring to that when Krishna says surrender unto me, he's telling to surrender unto the Brahman aspect. So it is the interpretation of one of the interpreters. So
Yeah,
that's the context which Maharaj is bringing up when he's saying that there are various versions of Bhagavad Gita. That's the thing.
Yes. So essentially, this version is typically found in all these Mayavada translation of interpretation of, or like Advaitin's translation or interpretation of Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, so
So
that is not.
they differentiate between Krishna's body and the soul. So for us, there's a differentiation between the body and the soul, right? They bring the same differentiation on the Supreme Lord Himself as well. So
So
that
they are following.
they don't
so
accept Krishna's body to be transcendental.
they are following Dvaita that time.
Not Dvaita. Dvaita is very clear. Okay, Lord is different and we are different.
No, but they are following that time at least Dvaita, right? That the Krishna body is different and the
No,
superpower is different.
no. Dvaita philosophy is completely different. Here, like Mayavada philosophy is Lord's body is material like our body. Okay, so for them, like, but this body does not exist in the sense like they call it as like not real or
Yeah,
unreal. Okay.
understood, Prabhu.
So
Okay.
little complicated. I don't want to get into the technicality of what it is, but what they accept, they don't accept Krishna's body as transcendental, and that's why they make a differentiation between Krishna's body, like how we differentiate our body. We are not the body, right? That's our
Correct.
philosophy, right? Similarly, they also say Krishna is not his body. Krishna's body is different. It's also material. That's why they say don't surrender to Krishna. That you have to surrender the soul within Krishna. And essentially each and every soul is one and the same, so that is soul within unmanifested. That's the thing they're saying, within the body of Krishna, unmanifested within Krishna.
Okay, but then we can take it sometime else. But then, with that logic, we can surrender to the soul which is present inside us also. Why to Krishna's soul if
Yeah,
everything?
that's essentially the point.
Okay.
Their point is like Krishna is that yogi, or what you call a person who is almost on the liberated stage for them. And we
Okay.
can also reach the same stage as him, and we become one with him. Or we are one with him. Not we become one, we are one with him.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu.
Okay.
Yes.
Yugal Kishore Prabhu, you had unmuted. You had something, you want to share something?
Just one point, Prabhu. Thank you. Maharaj was mentioning, highlighting the point that which Vivek Prabhu also mentioned, that the lower tendencies, what Maharaj Parikshit was exhibited by the anger. So as a living entities, we have lower tendencies, mainly exhibited to the kama, krodha, lobha. And these are the manifestations of when we are away from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, turning away from the Lord. And if we have to overcome those tendencies, and the best way of doing that is coming back to Krishna. That and you see that the house Parikshit Maharaj exhibited that by accepting himself and exhibiting the humility there, and then immediately he accepted that okay, there is something higher things, and then he surrendered to the Supreme Lord and accepted Parikshit Sukadev Goswami as the spiritual master in terms of hearing from the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he surrendered. So that is how that as a living entity, when we have these lower tendencies, that we can overcome these lower tendencies by turning to Krishna, and Krishna's. We ourselves cannot overcome these tendencies. So we have to put endeavor and depend on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And with those combination of our endeavor and mercy, that we will be able to successful on the things. Otherwise, if we see just our endeavor, it is not possible. So our endeavor with the humility and depending on the Supreme Lord or his devotees, something will definitely help us in the long run. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else would like to add, share based on today's lecture?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandat
Yes,
Pranam.
Mataji, Pranam, yes.
Yeah, Prabhu, thank you so much, Guru Krishna Prabhu. Actually, I was also thinking on the same point. I mean, not like you, Prabhu, but how Maharaj has so wonderfully explained here on, on what the mood of the real devotee should be. It should always be to surrender to the Lord, and the way he has, taken the example from Srimad Bhagavatam of Maharaj Parikshit here, right? So it's so wonderfully explained, Prabhu. Also, the shloka, he's referring to the shlokas as well from the Bhagavad Gita here. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I was just, going through these lines when Maharaj was talking. So I was really liking it, Prabhu, when it was, it should be basically our mood, what our mood should be basically, right? A devotee's mood. With no questions and no, just to blindly surrender to the Lord. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the appreciation for the other devotees. Just to add, just an anecdote to add to like Yugal Kishore Prabhu's point. It was in 2018, I think it was in Jagannath Puri Yatra by His Holiness Rompaswami Maharaj. So the arrangement was made in a big hall, the place where we were staying, and then Maharaj came to give a lecture. So the arrangement was made in such a way that there is a deity of Jagannath Baladev Subhadra on the stage, and Maharaj chair was arranged in such a way that his back was facing the deities. He noticed it, okay, then but he understood, okay, to make any change that of to his seating position, that is his back doesn't directly show or is directly the deities are behind his back. It will take some time. So he gave a lecture and he left. And next lecture when it started, what happened is or doing same lecture, something happened like what he apologized, saying, okay, even though the organizers did that mistake, Maharaj said, I'm here to actually serve the deities. I'm not in the, I should not be in the center, but somehow the arrangement was made such that I had to sit with my back facing the deities, so which is not the right thing. And then he apologized for it, and he said like, okay, and arrangements will be made to change the seating position. So essentially, every moment we see like great devotees like Parikshit Maharaj, also the followers who are in the footsteps of Parikshit Maharaj also exhibit the same qualities. In this case, Maharaj also exhibited it. That every moment in their life, actually, it's a constantly they are meditating the Supreme Lord, what is right, what is wrong, what should be done, what should not be done, all those things. So all these things are even observed. We can observe it if we are very keen enough, like in Srila Prabhupada and his followers as well, that how every moment in their life they mold it in such way that it is in service to Supreme Lord, and anything which is even something which is not in line with the devotional principle, they don't find it comfortable. They make some arrangements to change that. So just want to share this anecdote, something which happened a few years back. Uh, Anyone else would like to? As we are 7:05, so a few more minutes. Someone has anything to share? Sarbari Mataji, would you like to share anything from today's class? Are you there?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, the class was very nice. I particularly like the Bhagavad Gita as it is aspect, where interpreting it, this leading to that, that leading to this, instead of those complexities, the focus should be to just interpret it as it is. So that line I liked. And apart from that, what Krishna Mataji said, and your example of sharing Maharaja's devotion, where he had to put his back towards the deities, and afterwards he made arrangements to change it. That was also very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else like last call? Sonali Mataji, anything from your side?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, please, Mataji, please.
Very nicely covered.
I was about to call your name. Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I just felt very nice. We observe this quality of Maharaj in every class, especially here. When the beginning of the lecture, he started asking what is yoga and whatever people knows, they were saying, and he's encouraging everyone to say something, to understand where they are and to connect from that point to the final end of Krishna consciousness. So he has laid that bridge from their understanding to the conclusion. So that was so nice of Maharaj. And it is not only in this lecture, he does that in every lecture, wherever he be. He understands the audience and he builds that bridge gap and he takes us in a very smooth journey to get the conclusions. So that was very nice. That's it, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so we will stop here today and continue the remaining portion of the lecture on tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness Rampaswami Maharaj ki jai. Naigo Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishvanebhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.